Morning class, how's everybody doing today? Let's get our computers open. So I wanted to read this out to you guys, and we're going to do a little bit of a lesson today. The sun shone brightly, warming the cool earth. Tiny worms poked their heads from the dirt, and on tiny yellow crocus opened its petals. All around, dew sparkled, so that the grass resembled a vast field of diamonds. The budding trees rustled gently in the light breeze, and birds sang cheerfully high in their branches. A lone bee hummed lazily around the patch of lavender where Winston had carelessly left the day before. What time of day is it?
Daytime.
Hmm?
Daytime.
Whoops, let me go back, sorry. I'll read this again. Okay.
6:01 a.m.
The sun shone brightly, warming the cool earth. Tiny worms poked their heads from the dirt, and on tiny yellow crocus opened its petals. All around dew sparkled so that the grass resembled a vast field of diamonds. The budding trees rustled gently in the light breeze, and birds sang cheerfully high in their branches. A lone bee hummed lazily around the patch of lavender where Winston had carelessly left his shoes the day before. What time of day do you think it is?
Morning.
Okay. What season do you think it is?
Spring.
Yeah, I think so. What is a crocus?
Flower.
Okay. So, who's Winston?
Buenos dias, good morning.
Good morning.
Narrator.
Who's Winston?
Narrator.
Hmm?
Narrator.
Okay. What do you think? Okay. So, you guys just made an inference. Have you guys heard about inference before?
You say you don't think so?
Okay. So Skylar, you know what an inference is?
Yeah.
You've heard of inference before? Okay. So, what is an inference? An inference is basically an educated guess. That's all it is. It's an educated guess, and it's a conclusion that you come to based on the background knowledge, reasoning, and evidence from a text. So, if I would say something to the effect of, I had a very long day yesterday. I went on a long walk. It was warm out. I fell down a flight of stairs.
That's not healthy.
Not healthy. Then I fell into a pond. Then I fell off my bicycle. And then I fell down that same flight of stairs again. What would you guys infer?
You need
Clumsy?
to like.
Clumsy?
Yeah.
That's putting it lightly.
You- Yeah, no, I went through a lot. You infer that I'm clumsy. I had a long day. I had a bad day. It's just you take the information that you have, you come to your conclusions, and that kind of is what an inference is. So, what I want us to do real quickly, just a little bit of a warm-up exercise. I put some sheets here, and read the start sheets. If you read those and pair up, one person can read a few, then another person can read a few. And there's sort of examples. There's kind of a warm-up inference example. So, Sally arrives home at 4:30 and knows that her mother does not get off work until 5. Sally also sees that the lights are off in their house. So what do you guys infer from this? I'll read this again. Sally arrives home at 4:30 and knows that her mother does not get off work until 5 p.m.
She's home alone.
Sally also sees that the lights are off in the house. What do we infer, guys?
She's home alone.
What was that?
No one's home and she's home.
Yep,
She's
that's
showing up.
exactly it.
She's early.
Someone might be early. Exactly.
Yeah, kind of.
So take these, let's go for a minute or two. Each of you take a couple. The start side here is the situation, and if you flip it over, it's the inference. So you two work in pairs, and one of you read and the other one gets the inference. Maybe each of you do a couple of these, and then switch off. Okay? Go ahead. So Aiden, Blake. Skylar, and Ryan.
Do you want to read first or should I?
I read first.
Okay.
Ryan, turn off the phone for now.
No, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just letting you play. John hears a smoke alarm next door and smells burnt bacon.
His neighbor like burnt their breakfast or something.
Card with the stars on it.
Yes. That's actually what it says.
Yeah, I know. I already managed to read that one.
Well, let me take one. After feeding her dog Dolly crunchy food for years, Beth put wet food in Dolly's dish. Dolly would not touch it.
Put what food in Dolly's dish?
Wet food.
Her dog doesn't like wet food, it only likes the dry food, and is used to dry food. Nancy comes home from her day, runs into her bedroom and slams the door.
Repeat that.
Nancy comes home from her date, runs into her bedroom and slams
Day or
the door.
date?
Hmm?
Date or day?
Date.
She had a bad date. She wasn't doing very well. Child tries a new fruit and makes a disgusted face.
Doesn't like that food.
Yeah.
You adopt a puppy from a shelter and he seems nervous and scared. He hides from loud noises and has some noticeable scars.
Her assistant's office light out and did not hear the sound of
He's scared of the noises, loud noises.
You can infer that he was abused by his former owner. Hey, Mr. Kent, this one's a little bit aggressive.
How's it aggressive?
It's talking about animal abuse and puppies being abused.
Okay, so,
It's a little aggressive.
alright, so, okay, let's do one here. You adopt a puppy from a shelter, and he seems nervous and scared. He hides from loud noises and has some noticeable scars. What can you infer about the puppy?
He was abused.
Yeah, a little violent is the example that they gave us. I'm sorry. It's all good,
Yeah,
right?
he can't pick him.
Yeah, I know.
You know, leave it to you to pick the abusive one. I get it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, fair.
So, all right, let's finish up the one that we're doing. Now we're going to do another example here.
Sarah left the Payless shoe bag on the floor and was wearing shiny red heels. After that, Sarah went shopping at Payless.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, kiddos, let's come back up here. So let's do another one of these. Okay. Focus in, Skylar, Ryan. Let's focus in on this. Okay. Jeff wiped tears from his eyes as he pulled himself up to his feet. He brushed off his bruised knee and checked his helmet for signs of damage, seeing none. He pulled his bicycle from the patch of thorns and frowned at the deep scratches that marred his only shiny pant. Taking a deep breath, he got back on the bicycle and cautiously rode in a circle to get his bearing. Finally, he straightened up and rode off with his feet firmly on his pedals and his face set. I'll read this one more time. Jeff wiped tears from his eyes as he pulled himself up to his feet. He brushed off his bruised knee and checked his helmet for signs of damage, seeing none. He pulled his bicycle from the patch of thorns and frowned the deep scratches that marred his once shiny pant. Taking a deep breath, he got back on the bicycle and cautiously rode in a circle to get his bearings. Finally, he straightened up and rode off with his feet firmly on his pedals, his face set in determination. So, what happened to Jeff?
Fell off his bike into a pair of thorns.
He fell off his bike.
He rode directly into thorns.
Yeah, he was as clumsy as I was. What does the word marred mean?
I feel like hurt.
Scratch.
So using the context clues in the two stories, determine the meaning of the homophones. So, pedal versus pedal. So what is the difference? It sounds the same, right? Pedal, pedal.
Hot pedal spelled with A.
Well, there's two different types of pedals. So,
Yeah, it's P-E-D-A-L, P-E-D-E-L.
okay, I might have made a typo.
And I thought I was a nitpicky one.
I know, I'm not, we're not beyond a mistake. So, the pedal versus pedal.
Yep.
One's a bike pedal and what's the other one?
Flower
Flower.
pedal, the far superior
Excellent.
one.
Excellent, well done, well done. So, what we'll do is next, we'll go over to a sheet that I want to work on, and I'm going to model this for you. And now we're going to be doing inference, but this is inference based on nonfiction text. So, I'll go ahead and read this, and then we'll go ahead and answer the questions together. So, remember, an inference is a conclusion you come, An inference is a conclusion you come to based on reasoning and the evidence for the text. Making an inference requires using both information from the text and your background knowledge. So, Martin Luther King, a brave leader. Martin Luther King was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15th, 1929. His father was a minister and his mother was a teacher. King was a studious individual and as a result graduated from high school at a young age of 15 years old. Continuing his education, he attended Morehouse College and Crozier Theological Seminary. King worked as a pastor in Montgomery, Alabama for 5 years, but he left his job in order to dedicate his time to the civil rights cause. African Americans were treated unfairly. Forced to attend separate and unequal schools, required to sit in the back of the buses, and were prohibited from using the same drinking fountains as white people. In 1955, an African American woman by the name of Rosa Parks disobeyed the bus driver who ordered her to give up her seat to a white passenger. She was arrested and taken to jail. King spoke out against this particular injustice by organizing the Montgomery bus boycott. As a result, he was arrested and jailed. His home was bombed and his life was threatened. None of this stopped him from continuing with his nonviolent protest. Ultimately, it was the Montgomery-based boycott that helped end segregation on public transportation. Hold that thought, let me grab this phone. Good morning, this is Adam. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Yeah, you're in your room? Okay. Absolutely. Not a problem. Great, bye. Ladies, off you go. Up to Vanessa. Guys, I'm gonna read this again. Sorry for the interruption. Martin Luther King, a brave leader. Martin Luther King was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15th, 1929. His father was a minister and his mother was a teacher. King was a studious individual and as a result graduated from high school at the young age of 15 years old. Continuing his education, he attended Morehouse College and Crozier Theological Seminary. King worked as a pastor in Montgomery, Alabama for 5 years, but he left his job in order to dedicate his time to the civil rights cause. African Americans were treated unfairly, forced to attend separate and unequal schools, required to sit in the back of the buses, and were prohibited from using the same drinking fountains as white people. In 1955, an African American woman by the name of Rosa Parks disobeyed a bus driver who ordered her to give up her seat to a white passenger. She was arrested and taken to jail. King spoke out against this particular injustice by organizing the Montgomery bus boycott. As a result, he was arrested and jailed. His home was bombed and his life was threatened. None of this stopped him from continuing with his non-violent protest. Ultimately, it was the Montgomery bus boycott that helped end segregation on public transportation. So, with this worksheet, and there'll be one that you'll work on next, there's key vocabulary. Studious, dedicated, civil rights, prohibited, injustice, nonviolent, segregation. On your computers, you can look up these words with a dictionary for that, but when we get to the worksheet, we're gonna split the words up so that way you're not doing all of them, we'll split them up. So studious, serious about studying. To dedicate, having very strong support for or loyalty to a person, group, or cause. Civil rights, the rights that every person should have regardless of their sex, race, or religion. Prohibited, to prevent from doing something. An injustice is an unfair treatment or a situation in which the rights of a person or a group or people are ignored. Non-violent, not using and involving violence. Segregation, the practice or policy of keeping people of different races, religions, etc. separate from each other. So as far as the definitions are concerned, was there anything that anybody had any thoughts about, concerns, questions? But here is where we get to the inference. So, the text states, in 1955, an African-American woman by the name of Rosa Parks disobeyed a bus driver who ordered her to give up her seat to a white passenger. So what can you say about Rosa Parks' personality based on the information that we
She's
know?
stubborn.
She's what?
She's stubborn and
Stubborn, but stubborn can be a good thing.
Determined.
Determined. What do you think about Rosa Parks?
I was gonna say the same thing. Well, I guess I could say brave.
Brave. I love that. That's fantastic. Skylar, do you have any thought about Rosa Parks? What it says in this question?
She's a focus around justice and fair and equality.
Yeah. Okay. As a result, he was arrested and jailed. His home was bombed. None of this stopped him from continuing with his nonviolent protest. So, what does that say about Martin Luther King's personality?
He's a strong individual.
Strong individual.
I was thinking that.
Uh-oh, you two are gonna go outside and fight over this, but it's okay, I'll give you both
Wow.
credit. By the way, Aiden wins that fight. All right,
Wow.
okay, what about you, Ryan? What do you think about King's personality?
he's confident. He's confident.
Confidence is an interesting word. I like it. I think that if you kind of go and you're willing to do those things, there is a confidence about you. I didn't think of it that way, but that's excellent. That's excellent. So, King wanted people of all races to be treated fairly and to be able to live together in peace. So, what do you think you would infer from the, what quote do you think would support that in there? King wanted people of all races to be treated fairly and to be able to live together in peace.
Segregation.
So, if we come back up into here, what quote do you think?
I have a dream.
Well, I Have a Dream is a speech that does that.
That is the quote that's not in that.
You said what word do we think most?
Yeah, so back in here, we're going back, and we're going, King wanted people of all races to be treated fairly and to be able to live together in peace. I think King spoke out against this particular injustice by organizing Montgomery Bus Broker. As a result, he was arrested and jailed, his home was bombed. So it's just his determination that goes towards that. King felt strongly about speaking out in a peaceful manner. So what would you infer? King spoke out in a peaceful manner. So if it's a peaceful manner, what's the word that would be peaceful in a peaceful manner?
Right?
Nonviolent. So if there's nonviolent here, nonviolent protest, that's the inference. So if he's speaking out in a peaceful manner, the inference is that he wants nonviolence. That makes sense, kiddos? Thumbs up? Okay. So now it's your turn. What I want you guys to do, and I'm gonna get the other sheet here for you. And I put it on your desk. This is provided that this is okay. Here we go. Okay, now it's your turn. There's a sheet on here on Cesar Chavez. You guys take the sheet here, and it's your turn to do this work. I will go ahead, I will read the passage for you guys one time, and then I'm gonna have you guys go off on your own and tackle this. Cesar Chavez, a brave leader. Cesar Chavez was born in Arizona in 1927. When his family lost their farm to financial struggles, they had no other choice but to pack up their belongings and move from farm to farm, seeking any work they could find. By the 8th grade, Cesar was forced to quit school and work full-time to support his family. Working as a migrant worker, Chavez was made all too familiar with the somber conditions of the field. Migrant workers, most of them who were Mexican Americans, were paid below the minimum wage, often worked under unsafe conditions, and were forced to watch their young children work long hours as well. When Chavez grew up, he decided to help other farm workers like himself. He and his wife taught Mexican immigrants to read educated new U.S. citizens about voting procedure and joined the Civil Rights Organization. The community service organization he and the other activists went on to form the National Farm Workers Association. Through this workers' rights group, Chavez staged strikes against grape growers in 1965 and led a 300-mile march across California. Despite he and other union members being jailed along the way, he continued to fight for this cause. It wasn't until Chavez asked the American people to boycott grapes grown in California that the growers agreed to sign contracts for safer working conditions. Although the name of the Chavez Union changed in 1970 to the United Farm Workers of America, his organization vision stayed the same until his death in 1993. He stayed committed to fighting for social justice. So, we have some terms here. We'll split these up. Skylar, you take seeking and somber. Ryan, migrant and civil rights. The lovely and radiant Miss Greenwell, activist and boycott, and Blake, vision and social justice. And then from here, you'll go ahead and you'll work on the inferences. We'll give you guys about 10-15 minutes to go ahead and work on these. Huh? You get a pencil? I might have to give you a pen because everybody's taking all my pencils.
Can I steal one of your pencils?
I have to give you a pen.
I'll
Let's
steal your
go ahead.
pens too.
Huh?
I'll steal your pens too.
Yes, I know.
Alright,
That's,
show
that,
them the
that's
pencils.
how you roll, Skylar.
Hey, is that this one? No, I don't need it. I don't need one. I don't need one.
Okay.
Why?
Actually, yeah, maybe I can sell it for profit.
You can. You can.
Sweet.
All right, kiddos, off you go.
Here, do you want to buy this? Quarter.